I'm actually joined by Andy Sexton, who was the interim CEO of the Matthew project. I think now the full CEO of the project. Yeah. And we've been involved with this project from the start, really. And yeah, it'd be great for Andy just to tell you a little bit more about the project in general, the Next Steps project, and what the Matthew project do, and what this building actually means to them.
So the Matthew Project is an organisation that basically breaks down barriers for people, whether that's substance misuse or whether that's issues that they have in trying to get back into employment or training. We are all about trying to help people to reach their potential. One of the huge challenges for people now is that once they leave treatment and recovery and they move back into the community, they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anywhere for positive community. And so this place is all about positive community. It's all about support that people can get and skills they can get to move forward in their journey of recovery and not relapse. The relapse rates are terrible for substance misuse. It's 50% on national average people relapse, and that can be much higher for people with alcohol issues. So a centre like this, if they get support, that will drop quite remarkably down 30% if they're able to be absent for a year, and after 5 years down to 15%, the relapse rates drop. So that's why this place is in existence. And I think the big thing for us when we started the process, because we moved into the building in about September, I became interim CEO in November, and we I basically, Cannon Clarke, you'd been already, kind of recruited, if you like, or and you were on board, and then we met, and I said, "Oh, Andrew, look, I want to step back a little bit. I'm just taking this on. It's good to meet you, but let's do a little
Let's
bit.
Start again.
Let's start again." I was really unhappy with the designs that I saw previously.
Not from Cannon Clarke Architects. No, there were opportunities within the design.
There were opportunities within the previous design.
And you were quite right. Go back to basics. Let's talk to the service users, the staff, and really try to develop a brief.
Exactly. Yeah. So for us, it was really important to do that consultation. And it was great that you were able to sit in on the consultation with service users, with colleagues in the wider sector as well, and staff. And we sat down and we really thought, what should the building look like and be? And then we could be creative. And I think that gave me a lot more confidence as we stepped forward in the process, that we were going to get what we really needed. So that was really, really good start.
Yeah, and one of the main issues of this building being an old calorie testing centre, had sort of very industrial sort of feel to it. And I think those early designs that we looked at were just basic interventions of allocations of space, and it felt almost institutional.
It did.
And I think with some of the inspiration that you've given us from similar projects nationally, we took the sort of ethos of those and the wider usage, but actually created a mature theme for this. And a lot of the key words that came out of those service user meetings were, it needs to be warm and homely and comfortable, and you could just really get a sense of that need for engagement and just feeling like there's a sense of belonging. So that was really important to us from a design perspective of how do we create convert an industrial space into something that's warm and homely, but not effectively creating a home, because it is a commercial environment. But how do we get that feeling? So there were lots of design challenges.
Challenge. Yeah, that was a real challenge. And you're right. When we looked at the space and then added the comments from the service users about what they wanted, it was wow, how are we going to manage that? How are we going to create a warm and welcoming, homely space that people can come to in what was effectively a factory, or a lab? So I think we've achieved that really well. I think we've achieved that through the warmth of texture. I think we've achieved that through the colours, the lighting, through all the elements. I think have come together really well to make it what it is today. And I think the telling thing is the feedback we're getting from the service users that already use the building. They're very pleased with it, and I think that's the most important thing. And as it gets more use, we'll get more and more kind of like feedback, and it will really become a home away from home for people that really need that kind of support.
Yeah.
In their journey.
Brilliant. Budgets are always a key factor within any project, and I think one of those sort of very early design conversations at the initial sketch stages were, how much are what is your budget? How much do you think you'll be spending? And I think there was a bit of an underestimation of cost for the actual amount of building work that's involved, and I think it was up to us professionally to advise you, look, this is what you could do, or if you want something that's going to be absolutely fit for purpose, that functions well, that looks great, is effectively designed specifically for those service users, how can we review the budgets? I mean, what were your initial thoughts about those early chats?
Yeah, no, it was some hard conversations in a sense, because so the original concept for the centre was actually nothing like this. It was just going to simply be an inner city cafe with a group room for therapy and an office.
Yeah.
So we had money for that. So anything on top of that, we had to raise. And I'd just been in the organisation for a short time. I was interim at this stage, and I had to find basically all the money you were speaking of that was outside of that limit. And I think we had about 120k in the bank, all right, at that point, and I needed to raise all the rest, all that. So the budget that we got from the QS, if you remember, was...
Well, the challenge is on, the QS budgets of, well into the 400,000s, and we thought, what can we do to create this amazing space with using the materials that we have, sort of generally a palette of materials that are slightly more cost effective. We actually got about 25% off the QS's estimate, which is some going, really.
It was really good, and obviously it then was up to me and the board to decide, well, are we going to step out and go for it? Because this is what we actually want to do. Because I was really concerned that we would have a space that wasn't going to really demonstrate to the service users that they were important, because I think what we've achieved here is a space that tells people they're worth it, tells people that we're investing in them, and that was a key for me. It was just how to then raise the money, in a quick period of time, as well. So that was my challenge, and we managed it.
And we had the deadlines, completion date towards the end of September.
That's right.
And hit it, which was great news, but lots of challenges, lots of reactive time on site. But yeah, it was a really challenging project, but massively pleased that it was actually completed on time.
It was, yeah.
Very
really
well administered.
Good. Yep.
And the team from TGA Services, the builders, the contractors, acted really diligently. Any queries that came through, they were answered immediately.
I think they were excellent. They're excellent to deal with, just as you guys were. They would always, their first answer was yes. The first answer was yes, and that was really helpful.
That's good.
Because we were in a situation where, obviously, although they had a contract, there were still questions to be answered as we went along. And they were great, and they've been great. And as we kind of tidy things up and finish things off, they're coming in and getting them sorted. So it's been an impressive team, and I do feel that we've got on well. And generally, there's been some good conversations, some robust conversations around what we can be done and can't be done. But I think on balance, I hope you feel too that it's we've come up with the right thing at the end.
Yeah, live on a project, it's very different, but actually seeing it now in operation, completed, is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, thanks for that.
Cheers, thank you.
Brilliant, thanks.